Hi, I'm Willie and welcome back to my channel and another Security Saturday. Once again, thank you to everyone who interacts with me, participates, donates, everything. I couldn't do this without you. And we are screaming towards 8,000 subscribers, and then 10,000 will be that next hump where we do a giveaway. But this video is going to be kind of short. Things are kind of crazy. It's the Easter weekend, so lots of family stuff going on. And mowed for the first time, all that good stuff. So gonna kind of call it an early night, just feeling better. So got me a nice cold adult beverage here, and let's take a look at some of these stories. So the first story that we've got, and I'm not sure, I don't know if this is AGA or AGA, but what it is this pen test partners, and you've seen them before. They have found problems with a Wi-Fi or an Internet of Things connected oven, and they found that the ovens can be hacked. And they took a look at the mobile app, and it revealed that it simply passes messages to an API. Unsurprising. Now, I can't tell if that's their humor or, there's no inflection in this writing. But the mobile app communicates over plain text HTTP. The Android app explicitly disables certificate validation. And turns out that a physical module is added to the AGA. It contains a GSM SIM to which the customer has to subscribe, and it's 6 pounds a month. This is apparently what the device looks like, and it's controlled by SMS. So this is seriously, the web app sends text messages to your cooker. They talk about why that's a weird concept, and then it shows the login and registration page all over plain text HTTP. This is insane. This manufacturer should be embarrassed that everything is over plain HTTP. And let's see, they put in a valid number, and you'll see it's already registered. So there's something going on with the SIM cards, and apparently the short and the long of it is you can send SMS messages to this thing, and it says, yes, hackers could turn off other people's ovens. So I'll put a link to this. I want to know what you think about this. This is a reality that we're going to have to face, because this is not slowing down unless we have some sort of a setback in technology, unless Skynet becomes real overnight, and we are facing off against our technology. This is not slowing down. Toasters, refrigerators, the whole bit. I don't know if you've seen the Samsung refrigerators where from your phone, you're at the store, you can actually look inside your refrigerator in real time and see if you're out of mayonnaise. It's amazing. But they're just like any other IoT manufacturer at this point. They're going to have to get their stuff together and really get this figured out. I don't want anybody turning my oven on and off remotely. All right. The next one, I'm going to put a link to this PDF. And this PDF is rather lengthy. Is this going to crash my machine? Yeah, 50 pages. You can peruse through this. I'm going to tell you, I haven't read all this. I've been reading the synopsis on news sites. Now, this did not just happen. You can see the report was released April 11th, but I think they've been investigating this for a little while. But what they found was that in this prison, this was initiated August 19th, 2015. What they found is that some prison inmates had been using the recycling system, and they basically built their own network infrastructure and then used a bunch of open source tools to get into the prison's network And they were able to run all kinds of tools. They were able to hack passwords of employees. They were able to get credit card numbers and the names of other inmates. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So now we don't, wardens and guards don't only have to worry about like homemade weapons, toilet wine or whatever it is, but now they have to worry about inmates who are savvy enough to piece together machines that can do damage from the inside out. Now, my question for the prison, and you can go and you can find pictures. I don't know if the pictures are in here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's a list. Here's a list of all the open source tools. The malicious tools that they found. A CC proxy, Kane, the Z attack proxy, CC cleaner. Malicious tools. CC cleaner is not a malicious tool, but this has got some government spin on it. They obviously have quite a bit of egg on their face over this, and so they're going to spin any of this the way that they can. Wireshark is not malicious. Nmap is not malicious by its nature. This is just the GUI for Nmap. There was handcrafted software. Soft Ether VPN server, not malicious. OpenVPN, not malicious. Don't know what Jaina is or Yoshi. Videoland, VLC. VLC is not malicious, but this is all listed under the malicious tools, and but we're not limited to the following. So apparently there were more. PHPBB, Clamwin, Tor browser, voice over IP phone, VirtualBox with Kali installed, TrueCrypt, Hydra, and of course Kali Linux, and is regarded as the most versatile and advanced penetration testing distribution. I'm not going to refute that. I actually have a machine that I carry with me that is loaded on that, and that is what I use to do a lot of my pen testing. So, I mean, if you're a prison, okay, so I can see inmates maybe getting enough to piece together from servers, but they penetrated your network? How do you explain that away? You don't. I mean, it's unbelievable. These guys, I don't know. They got a lot of time to think, right? So check this story out, because it is, here's a hub in one room. So they do have some pictures. At one point I saw some pictures, see if they're in here, of the where they found this. Yeah, here it is. Location in the ceiling where the computers were found. So they had the computers in the ceiling, and you can see all the Ethernet cables. I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of places that if you walk in and plug in an unsolicited machine, it's going to work. But I would think that a prison, just by nature, but maybe that's just me, and that's not a valid thought. So anyway, I will put a link to this if you want to read all 50 pages. Like I said, I just read the synopsis. This is the whole thing, but there's a whole lot of people that are in trouble over this, not just the inmates. So, and this inspection took 2 years. There's a lot of time wrapped up in this thing. So, alright, the next story tonight comes from WordFence, and I really like WordFence. Thousands of hacked home routers are attacking WordPress sites. I actually have an Angry Cloud cartoon for this ready to go. But they noticed that Algeria had moved from position 60 to position 24. So they're noticing this huge influx of attacks from that country. They start looking into it, and it's a botnet, and it is home routers, right? But which home routers? So Zycel, home routers. So these these things are vulnerable. There are other ISPs with vulnerable routers, and I didn't see any other routers besides the Zycel. Let's see. So there are 28 ISPs with suspicious attack patterns that indicated compromised routers, and they've got the list right here. You can see all of these. Talks about the ports, why it's a problem. Port 7547 is a management port on home routers that allows the ISPs to manage the routers that their customers use on their home networks. It uses a protocol called TR069 to provide a management interface. It can be used to provision devices, provide tech support and remote management, monitor routers for faults, for diagnostics. And this protocol and port has had at least 2 serious security vulnerabilities associated within the last 4 years. And they talk about the misfortune cookie vulnerability. And so this is very interesting. WordFence puts out articles all the time, and I do use their free and premium products, and I always enjoy the email that I get from them. I think you can go sign up, but any of these companies that have their pulse on the what's going on the internet, and WordPress powers a very large majority of websites around the world, and a lot of those sites are using WordFence. So they have a very good idea what's going on. Like they said, they could see this traffic. So hopefully these ISPs get this all figured out, but they are attacking WordPress websites. And this looks like, let's see, looks like, yeah, there are 41 million devices on the internet that listen on that port, and the TR069 protocol is widely used. So if you look at the breakdown of who uses that port and that protocol, look at this. United States, looks like 16,486,487, and Comcast would be the largest user there. There's Time Warner, BT. So let's talk about what happens, what the problem is. So if your router is successfully exploited, an attacker can access your internal home network. They have penetrated any firewall function the router provides and can also bypass NAT. This enables them to exploit internal targets like workstations, mobile devices using Wi-Fi, and IoT devices like home climate control systems and home cameras. So if they exploit this and you've got cameras running internally and there's no authentication, even though they're not facing the internet directly, people could be watching you. And they're already seeing bulk exploitation, and they are attacking WordPress websites. So, and then it talks about the security risk to the internet at large. And last year, if you remember, there was a huge 1 terabyte DDoS attack in September, one of the largest seen in history. Approximately 152,000 IoT devices have been compromised. So, if they can take control, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, if the Comcast devices, 12 million strong in a botnet, it would be crazy. So I'm going to put a link to this. Go out there and read that. As always, keep your WordPress websites up to date. Use a web application firewall, whether it's a WordFence or something sitting in front of, the IP, just, take that extra step. The next story we're going to talk about is the hacker that set off the emergency alarms frightening Dallas residents. There's some video here. It's about 1 minute and 25 seconds, but it talks about this was last Friday. All of the emergency sirens, 156 of them, were activated around 11:40 p.m. in what appeared to be a hacking incident. So this is just another example of public infrastructure that could be vulnerable. Now, there are other follow-up stories on this that talk about what happened, how they, how the hacker got in, and what they did, and we may cover that, we may not. But go out there, do a little bit of Googling, and you'll be able to find that. But if they can set off emergency alarms, think about all the other municipal structures that are out there. Everything from municipal broadband to state-run traffic lights, the lights along the interstate, all the signs, the LED signs on the interstate. What else? The power grids. So think about all this stuff that is connected and about how vulnerable it could be. This could have been much worse. It could have been a power grid. It could have been somebody, turning green lights on all the traffic signals. That would be absolutely crazy. So I'll put a link to that out there. There's some video. You can watch that. That's it for the stories I kind of wanted to highlight tonight. The next thing I want to talk about is some software. I like to touch on this. And some people have mentioned Spiceworks in the past, but I will tell you that I use Landsweeper. And here it is. And they are always updating it. And you can see some of their customers. Hyundai, NASA, Dell, Accenture, the Marine Corps, HP, DHL, Bosch, Sony. So we use it in several places. It goes out, it crawls the network, you give it credentials, you give it IP networks. It will go out and it will build an inventory of your network. And you can license it a couple different ways. You can license it per device, and I think that there's an unlimited. If we pull this up. So the ultimate, let's see, you get multiple scanning servers, SLA, hotfixes, help desk API, which is new, email support from the company. You can use an SQL server and database inventory, track any and all SQL servers across the network. You can do software deployment. I have not started using that yet. We do have it. We use the professional where I have it, and right now we're using it for the network scanning and asset management, which it does a fantastic job at. It goes out, it pulls the serial numbers off your machines, it automatically looks up the warranty information, it tells you everything about the hardware, it tells you the last user logged in, tells you the last time it was seen, and we pull the machines multiple times within a week. So then we can create reports like the last time, in the last 60 days, what machines haven't been seen, what machines antivirus is out of date, we can run software compliance as far as licensing goes. This can track all of your licensing. The knowledge base, help desk ticketing, and the help desk API, those are new. We have not used those yet. We have another trouble ticket system for that. But check it out. You can get the free version. There is a free one, and you can go in and run it on your network. You can do 100 assets, and this is what I was talking about down here. So with the professional, we have 1,000 assets, and so you can tell it what an asset is. So you can tell it to ignore printers, so that doesn't take off of your licensing. So because some people have a way to manage printers, you could tell it like your network infrastructure devices, like your wireless access points, don't use those. Or you can just tell it to collect everything. So PCs, servers, printers, wireless access points, switches, routers, all that would all be in there. You can feed all the credentials in, get all the information from it. It's awesome. And I'll tell you, it's not that expensive. So, and they run deals all the time, because I can tell you that this price is not what we originally got it at, because they had a deal going on. So I am not an affiliate. I do use the software, use it extensively. So I'll put a link to that over or down in the comments. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about kind of ties into the Zycel thing. Not really, but this is something that's really common. I don't know if you've ever fired up your laptop and looked at, you fire it up, you open up the wireless, and there are 25 Netgear or D-Link SSIDs around you. So your neighbors have gone and they've purchased this router. They've taken it out of the box, they've plugged it in, and that's it. So then you've got 50 access points all on channel 1, 6, or 11, you know, on the 2.4. They're wide open, or a lot of them are using the default username and password. Do not do that. Do not use the default username and password. If you're not using a system, you know, a nice Wi-Fi system like the, you know, the Ubiquiti gear or the Amplify gear, or if you've got, you know, I mean, Asus makes some nice stuff. Netgear, I guess, has some nice stuff. D-Link, but make sure you're going in, you're changing the default username and password. Don't use admin password. You know, it's crazy to me that like Comcast, you know, on all the cable modems that are out there, they put out there that, you know, that in the document that, you know, the username is CUS admin and the password is high speed. And you can go in, you can do things, you can mess with the network settings, you can turn that thing into bridge mode, you can do all kinds of stuff. And that's just out there and it's default. So if somebody has a network broadcasting and they've got it plugged into their Comcast, and you can get into there. I mean, it's default. So I always suggest that people change that. Do not use default usernames and passwords. So a lot of companies get bad rep, you know, that their stuff is insecure when actually the user doesn't really know or isn't, you know, prompted to change those credentials. So make sure that you're doing that. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I hope whatever you're celebrating tomorrow that you have a great time. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please use all of those affiliate links down there as always. And we will see you in the next video.